who created me. I lift my voice in worship to the author of destiny. You say that it is finished. Your word remains the same. Your love is never ending. For that is who you are. That is who you are, Lord. I lift my hands in surrender to the one who created me. I lift my voice in worship to the author of destiny. You say, and that your word remains the same. Your love is never ending, for that is who you are. Oh, you are good, you are God, you never fail. You're the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. You are good, you are God. You never fail. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Hallelujah.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Nina. I mean, we have a singer in the house, so how do we not start with a song? So thank you very much, Nina. We are we are thankful for the gift of singing that the Lord has given you. So good evening, viewers. We are happy to come to you this evening once again on Friday at 7:30 on Before and After I Say I Do. We are on episode 6 today, and it's really nice to come to you. And thank you for the feedback that we've been getting. Of course, you know, we have been, this June, we have been talking about After I Say I Do. And we've been majoring on difficult situations that we go through after I do, some which are not, which we never applied for, you know, which we never even thought would go through for. You know, when people are going through premarital counseling, you go through premarital counseling, you listen, you're told, you know, people go through this, people go through death. I mean, you can lose a spouse. How would that be for you? We go and talk about children. What if you never have children? What if children will take 5 years? You know, we talk about all these things in premarital counseling. But what about when you say I do, and then that becomes a reality, you know? And our topic is that when you desire children, and they take longer than you thought about, than you ever imagined that you could wait to hold your bundles, you know? And so that's our topic tonight. My name is Pauline Gikang'ah, always happy to host this show every Friday. And my guests this evening are two lovely ladies. And those ladies are, I'm sure we are going to get Sarah back. Sarah, oh, sorry. Yeah, and these are two lovely ladies representing their families. So they are here with consent from their family, their husbands, to come and just share with us their journey. And I want Nina.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I would like Nina Njoroge to say a hi to the viewers.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Pauline, for having me. Thank you so much, Sarah. Of course, we're called Njoroges.
It was interesting.
I know, it's so good to be here. I can't wait for what's just about to happen here tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nina. So over to you, Sarah. Say hello to the viewers.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Njoroge, and it's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to the fellowship this evening.
Wow, wonderful. So yeah, it was interesting that they were both Njoroges, yeah. So yeah, so we are happy to have two Njoroge families with us tonight. And of course,
Amen.
you know, this journey is let me first say it's a life where you're trusting God and waiting to be blessed with children is a lonely journey. Not lonely because you're not having company from your spouse, but it's that unless you've gone through the journey, you will never really understand. And that's why you hear a lot of, even many African societies, you know, many African clans and regions like, Western, Eastern, wherever, all of them have a way they talk about a woman or a family without children. So first of all, we must begin by saying that the society comes in very harshly on such a topic when a family does not have children. And so, of course, I began by saying that no one applies not to, to be without children. Of course, we know there are a few who say, I don't want to have children, but that's about 3% of most families. Most families want somebody to come, you know, after them to enjoy, to grow up. Some say, I want to grow old, my children to look after me. So there's so much, children are always a topic of discussion in a family. So most families and majority of families will look up to them. We will want to have children. And of course, the society also, when meeting people you got married together with, some people will say things which we will hear. How have the journey of Nina and her husband and Sarah and her husband, how is that been? So we are going to dive into the discussion this evening. And I want to start with Sarah to just ask you, Sarah, whether had you talked about children? I mean, like how many children you want to have, like when you're dating, when you want to have children, how many you had wanted. What had you talked about children before you got married? Sarah. Sorry, I think Sarah got a bit stuck. Nina?
I think she's back.
Okay, Sarah.
I'm back. I'm so
you're
sorry.
back?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We will bear with all the technology. This is a new normal, so we
Oh,
are
yeah.
learning on the job. We will not be discouraged. Yeah, so over
Oh,
to you,
yeah.
Sarah.
Internet challenges. Okay.
Yeah, I hope you got the question.
I think I missed a bit. If you
Okay,
don't
let
mind
me
repeating,
repeat.
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I asked, when you're dating with your husband, did you talk about children? Did you talk about how many children you'd want when you want to have children, and maybe how many you have wanted? Did you have such a discussion?
Wow.
Okay. Yes. Okay. We did have that discussion earlier on during our courtship, of course. But I thank God for our best man, because I think he brought us to that place of discussing about children. Because at one point he did ask us, suppose you do not get children, what happens? But of course, we had a discussion of how many children we wanted to have, and then we also discussed the question of suppose it does not happen. Yes.
So how further on did you go with that discussion? Suppose, did you want to really dive there, or you just talked about it?
Of suppose it doesn't happen, of course, well, you don't know what God has in store for us. And of course, like any other couple, we were hopeful, and we believed, and we knew somehow that we were going to have children. So that was just by the way, I would say the question of suppose it doesn't happen, I would say it was just a by the way. It was not something that we delved deep into. It was just a question of just passing. But of course, we discussed and said, if it does happen, then of course we will still stick together.
Wow, I like that. So it was a by the way. It is just, oh, okay, it could happen, but anyway, we know we'll have children. Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Over to you, Nina. What did you, when you were dating, what did you talk about children?
So for mine was very interesting because from the word get-go, I had to discuss that issue because a few months before I met my husband, I had had an operation. I had ovarian tuberculosis, and so even when we were dating, that conversation had to come up. Like, hey, you guys, it's like this, but the doctor has said that like we can still have children. So for me, it was not a discussion of whether or not we should discuss whether we will have children or not. It's the fact that I had to start with discussing that I had an unhealthy matter in my reproductive area, you know. So you can imagine how weird that was. Like, who starts a marriage like that? Like, by the way, just in case we never have children, are you planning to walk away so that we plan now? You know, you walk now before I, get a broken heart in case I never get children. But then we'd been told it was like an 80% chance that we are going to have children. Like, that operation was not going to stop me from having any children. And it's true. So that conversation had to happen. So mine was not like Sarah's, by the way. No. It had to happen. Part of the relationship is, hey, by the way, it's like this. I had an operation. Hey, tell me more. Okay, so can we have children? Maybe yes, maybe no. But the doctor says yes. That conversation had to happen. So for me, it was very important.
And I hear you say that the doctor said 80%. So 80% seemed like, yes, you'll have children.
Yeah, because like for me, what I'd been told is that they'd removed one of my ovaries because the ovary had ruptured, and because of the infection that was caused by TB. A lot of people don't know that women get TB actually in the ovaries. So you can imagine the shock. I was like, what? TB for what? I only knew TB for the chest, you know. So when that part was removed, and of course the first thing I cried, I had not met my husband that time, so I cried, and then he said, no, Nina, you will get children. It's actually a higher probability because women get children even with one ovary. So we have two, right and left.
Yes.
So I was told I'm fine, my tubes are good. I will have children. So for me, when I was getting into the marriage, I knew I'll have children, but there was this condition that had to definitely be discussed. Before he puts even a ring on my finger, even engagement, I had to make that very clear.
Wow, okay. I hear you. At least it's a discussion that you had, and he knew from the beginning that there was that, but there was 80%. And of course, 80 looks very promising. Yeah. So Sarah, how many years has it been since? You're muted.
Yes, we are doing our 11th year. So it's been 10 and a half years, and I would say 10 years of nothing but God's grace. Yes.
So going to your 11th year. Okay.
Yes, we are already in our 11th year, 10 and a half already. Yeah.
Okay. So Nina, how long has it been for you guys?
It's been 16 years. We are going to 17 years. Yeah.
You're going to 17 years. So maybe Sarah, you can take us through your journey. Like, at what point did you get an alarm? At what point did you discover? When did it really alarm you most? At what point? Just take us through your journey, please.
Okay. Let me begin by saying I got married at I was 33 when I got married, and of course we did not have plans to like take forever before having children, because of course I was advanced in age, I would say. So the plan was to have children immediately, maybe after a few months. So 1 year and 1 year into the marriage, and we realized there was a problem. And so of course we started the journey of medical attention and everything, and it went on and on and on and on. And I would say it's a challenge, because even after visiting so many doctors to date, I would tell you, Pauline, we have something called unexplained infertility. You cannot have children. Yes. So yeah, that has been our journey, and it's been a tough one, I would say. You know, it's easier when you're dealing with something that you know this is what we are treating. But it becomes quite challenging when you do not know what it is that you're dealing with. You do not know where the problem is. Then you actually get tired of going to the doctor, because then you wonder what new is he going to tell you, what kind of medication are they going to put you under. So it's more frustrating when you do not know what you're treating. Yes.
So how does the doctor bring it to you? How does he give it to you? What do they say? Go and how do they bring it to you, the doctors?
Okay. It is, I wouldn't say even the doctors really know what to tell you, because you know the journey of infertility entails tests after tests after tests after tests, you know. So you go through all these tests and everything comes out, you're okay, you're all right, everything is okay. So the doctor is like, now we do not know why you cannot conceive, you do not know why you cannot have children. So there's nothing that the doctor is like breaking the news that this is what the problem is. So nobody really explains what the problem is, because everything turns out okay, but then you're not able to have children.
So Sarah, at what point did you, I know it's you and your husband, but at what point did it really alarm you? Like, really? When did it alarm you really? I mean, we'll talk about the journey even after and all, but at what point did it, you said you wanted to have children after a few months, but when would you say it really concerned you?
Yes. I would say, I think into our second year, I think into our second year, I personally started having difficulties, and of course feeling frustrated. And then of course by the third year, and then the fourth, and up to the fifth year, I would say by the second year and the third year, it was really hard, it was tough, it was difficult, because that is when everyone expects you to be pregnant anyway. And so that is the point where the questions start coming and everything, the second year and the third year. So the pressure was too much during the second and the third year.
Okay, so we'll come back to that.
Okay.
A lot of pressure. So Nina, take us through your journey. So you get married, yes?
So for me, like I said earlier, like before I met my husband, I already had the complications, but I had already been told that I could have children. So it's like, even though mine was not like a by the way, like, you know, Sarah's, story, there was that assurity, I had faith. And one of the things my husband assured me was, even if we don't ever have kids, I will still stick by you. I'm not marrying you for children. He made it very clear. I mean, we said, if we don't have them, fine. If we have them, fine. I love you for you. And that's, that's it. So what happened was we said, okay, fine. Because in our minds, we still don't think we cannot have children, okay? At that time. So the first year we said, I think it's important for us to be able to take, time and get to bond, to know one another before starting to bring in toys and all that into the family. And so the second year passed, and then we were like, something is not adding up. So we started going for checkup and all that. And then now that's when I discovered I have another complication. Yani, as if the first one was not a monster, the second one now comes in and I'm told I have an infection and I need to go into theater. Where I was shattered. Like I was like,
After how long was that?
Sorry?
After how long was that?
Being told that I need to do another operation?
Yes.
That was like 4 years into the marriage. So 4 years. So we're just 4 years old in the marriage. And here we are now, we're being told we have to, do another operation. I actually postponed that operation for like 2 years or something. Like I didn't even want anything. I was being laid on hands. I was being prayed for. I was sowing seeds. I was buying baby clothes. In fact, I was even buying the twins, like double, just to show God my faith, how I don't want to go under the knife again. Unfortunately, I had to go for another operation. They needed to rectify. That was not the one they were going to do a tube. That one they needed to go in there and fix the infection that was happening, or now going towards my other ovary. Yani as if the first one was not enough. Now the second one was being come for, like they were coming for that second one. So we did the operation, and the doctor was very positive, and she said, the gynecologist, actually a she, and she said, by the way, Nina, you can still have children. I mean, they reassured us we can have children. So we even walked out of there with, methods of how to be able to try and get these children. Then we did 2008, 2009, 2010. And all these years, you're going to the hospital. So you're constantly knocking on doors, and this one tells you, oh, there's a doctor that is better. My doctor is very nice. Can't you just check him out or her? So we were doing a lot of that gallivanting here and there. So until 2012, I finally gathered the courage, because I was tired of going to the hospital. I finally gathered the courage to say, you know what? We just need to go for one more checkup. So we just went to this gynecologist, another lady. We did all the scans, and I don't know whether you've done, Sarah, if you've done the I don't know, it's called what? HSG, something like that. The one where they insert some ink into your tube to check if they are blocked. It's almost like an X-ray of the tubes. Actually, it's an X-ray of the tubes. Now, you don't want your tubes to be blocked. That thing is painful. So I had to do it in a span of,
it's horrible.
It is terrible. So in a span of like 5 years, I had to do like 3 of those. Oh. So that I ended up even crying, and I was like, oh no, I can't believe I'm going for this test again. So she needed to see something in my tubes. And that's when she got in there and she now saw the x-rays, she said, okay, fine, I see what the issue is. So apparently what had happened is, when operations are done in our parts as women, something will always be touched somewhere and all that. So there's something we have called cilia, like the hairs you have inside your nose to prevent the dust and things to enter. So we also have that in our fallopian tubes, just in case, for the ladies who don't know, now I can be a gynecologist. So we have, that hair is called cilia. That's the hair that causes the sperm and the ovary to meet together in order to be able to conceive. So I don't have that. They told me I don't have that. And so long story short, the solution now was that I need to do IVF. So there's still that option and the probability of doing that. But I'm sure that's a question I'm sure you're going to get to at some point in this conversation.
I hear you. So Sarah, you mentioned, of course, about God's grace, and you knew that God would bless you. So what was going on with you about this, your God, at this point? What was in your mind about God? You and your husbands, you can say even on his behalf. Mhm.
I thank God because of our background and the fact that we were both raised and grounded in faith. I would say that because I think that is what kept us going. The fact that we were both we were both strong, and but of course we had our own issues, because at some point I would really struggle, especially with prayer. I would say there's a season that I would really struggle with prayer, because then you wonder, I have prayed and prayed and prayed. Why is God not answering? Why is God not hearing? So I think there's a season I never prayed. I would stop praying, because then I felt I remember having that discussion and saying, I have told God everything that I need to tell him about this issue. So I don't really know what else I need to say, or what other words I need to use for him to hear. So I felt like I had told him anything. We were still we were okay, but then I think my prayer life and my I would say my spending time with God was a bit affected, sort of. But I never ran away from God. I never left him, but I was a bit weak, I would say. Yeah, I was a bit weak, and I think I was sustained by the prayers of my family and friends.
That honesty. So I mean, Nina, you've been a singer, a worshiper all this long. You're praying, you're being laid on hands. What were you thinking about God at this time? At that particular time when it was, the hardest?
I just like Sarah. That's why I'm lifting my hands for her, because I'm like, sis, I got you. I can relate. You're like God and angels stay far away from me. I want nothing to do with you. Especially when you've been a church girl, like from your teenage years. Some of us, like some of us, we kept ourselves for our marriage, like so constantly. For me, it was a conversation of like, God owes me. He owes me for being good.
Wow.
You deserve it.
Yeah. And so for me, it's, I prayed until I got tired. As in, for me, it got to a place where, and I've told this story before, where I would just sit and gaze at the television, and I'm just feeling like almost like a depression. I'm not even watching TV. I'm just looking through the television. Because I can't understand. That's a serious crisis of your faith, because you're like, wait, I even pray for people and they get children.
Yeah.
As in, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand for the life of me how that is even possible. I'm leading worship. People are coming with testimonies of how during worship the Lord touched them and they got pregnant. And I'm like, okay, this is, maybe there's something I don't know. I repented. The way you're told, me, I've even been told that it's because I sinned against a man of God, back in my teenagehood. I've been told things I need to repent. There's nothing I have not been told. I don't know whether you can relate.
I know that feeling. I know.
Yeah, but for me, I think it's just that roller coaster of, here I am, I've been this girl, a teenager, a youth, full of faith. I faithed for my husband. I can't believe that in my entire family, we are 5 girls. I am the only one without a child. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm the one who prays for them. Like, I am literally like their pastor. Like, for me, it's all those good points.
Yeah.
But you just know that all that is vanity, that God blesses whom he wants.
It's true.
We choose this.
God blesses who he wants. Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. So how was it? Maybe share how was it? So you have friends, maybe friends you got married the same time. You have relatives. Nina, you have talked about your sisters and getting married and getting children. But how was that journey? How has the journey been with your friends who you married together? How has it been for you being with them still? Maybe Sarah, you could go, or Nina.
I start?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I felt like I was on gear 2.
It's okay. Yes.
You said that, and I remembered in a fellowship where, I remember we used to gather sisters, and all of us, we got married, like, not my physical sisters, my
Yes.
spiritual sisters. Like, we
Yes.
literally got married like in a staircase.
Mm.
Today is Nina, tomorrow, next year is this one, next 2 years later, And let me tell you, for me, the worst part, and they know this story because I've shared it. I mean, they know, they walked the journey with me.
Mm.
I dreaded baby showers.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
It reached a place where I was like there's a particular year, there's a girl who used to buy me a whole year. She used to buy for me double of everything. So she used to say, Nina, you're gonna get twins. So she would buy for me double. So every month I would get a gift for children. So what I would do now, because these children have not come, every baby shower I'd take these clothes
With those clothes, yeah.
and go and sew them in now my sisters, my sisters in faith, their children's lives. And that's what I did. A lot of their children have worn things that I was gifted with, and I gifted back. God is a witness. Hey! So, I mean, those are some of the things I did. That the baby showers were very difficult for me. They were very difficult for me, guy. God knows. There is one particular one. I had said I'm not going. I had said, it's a long story. It was very painful. Eventually, I was forced to go, but then that for me was, and I later explained it, and I said, listen, you cannot force me to go for a baby shower. You can't do that. You can't do that. And then now the other one is now my family members, my sisters, getting toys. Like there's a year, sometime back recently, three of my sisters, we are 5, but 3 of my sisters all got pregnant at the same time. So my mom even had a dream, and she said, I've seen 3 of my daughters are pregnant, and for sure all their children were born the same month, the same week. Nina was nowhere in that bracket. So so for me, it's constantly that I have to keep going at the time, to keep going, and taking gifts, loving on my sisters. But I thank God for one thing my sisters did, especially my blood sisters. I became an auntie, and I still am, to all my precious nieces and nephews who, they call me Auntie Nina. So even when I give my profile, I say I'm auntie, because that's a gift, it's a gift. And so when those kids even have come and hung out with me in my house, I treat them as if they're my own children. And so there's literally no difference when they come here. So, but that's how tough it was for me. I dreaded. Don't force a woman who doesn't have children to go for a baby shower. Terrible mistake.
Wow, Sarah. So you have friends, you got married the same time, maybe some are younger or older than you. How has been the experience? Sarah.
Yes, sorry, I'm losing you a bit. Okay, my apology, my internet is a bit unstable, but we will continue. So my journey, I don't know. I have 5 sisters as well. I think we have so much in common with Nina. But then I am the second last born. I was the last of them to get married.
Mhm.
So, but I come from a big family. We are 9, and so by the time I was getting married, I had nephews and nieces who we are not very far apart as far as age is concerned.
Mhm.
So there was no pressure, I would say, from my sisters because most of them had already had children. But now my friends and I had so many of my friends get children. I was a maid of honor in 2 weddings, and they all came and had children before me. And you can imagine you have to organize baby showers for them and do everything for them, and it was tough. But I did it. Initially, the baby showers, as Nina is speaking, they were tough. They were difficult. I remember one I attended in church, and I stormed out because I couldn't handle. I left midway, but then with time it gets better. I would say that. With time it gets better, but initially it was tough. I couldn't stand meeting an expectant lady at some point, because then it brought the memories and the sadness and the pain and the anguish and everything. But I thank God because I would say time is a healer. Yes, I can confidently say time is a healer because then it gets better with time. So the pressure of meeting your friends and family is real. It is real. And baby showers, I would say, like Nina, unless someone is ready, invite them. I keep saying again, Pauline, the pain of, and I think I shared this at some point, the pain of being left out is worse. So invite them, but again, don't put pressure on them. If they want to show up, they will. If they don't, please allow them to stay. But don't leave them out. Don't fail to invite them, because then it is worse to be left out, because then you feel like you're being left out because you're not a mother, you don't understand motherhood and stuff. You know, it hurts more.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Sarah. And now that you've mentioned the word mother, I just remembered Nina shared something on her. You saw from the Facebook page that she's a founder of Complete Woman. And
Yes.
Mother's Day was it a week? No, it's about 2 weeks, or is it 3? It's like a last month, yeah? Mother's Day,
yes.
yeah?
Yeah.
And Lena, maybe how Mother's Day? What is Mother's Day to you? I know you shared it on that platform, but what is Mother's Day? This day when it comes, what is it for you?
Like I said, it's the most dreaded day for me. I didn't realize it until I just noticed that every time it was Mother's Day, I'm the one who would lead worship. You know? And it's Happy Mother's Day, everybody, you know. And then when you're told to stand up, you're a mother. Of course, for instance, like I have a son. We have a son. My husband has a son, a 23-year-old boy. So I'm his mother in actual sense. But you see, that's not my child's child, you know, from my womb, right?
Yeah.
And I love him, and he knows I love him so much. But then it's this thing where everybody has to keep reminding you, oh, my sister, stand up. Woo! You're a mother. Or
like stand up by faith.
Yeah. Or you know, they start telling you God is gonna bless you this same time next year. I'm like, hey, come on. I didn't ask you to prophesy to me. I didn't ask you, did you want to know whether I needed a word like that? Is that a now word or that's an emotional word? And I've noticed that a lot of people, and especially when they know you don't have children and they know you, they are actually or maybe in a sense, like one of them actually wrote to me and inboxed me, and she said, Nina, I want you to just tell us, because maybe we also don't know how to handle people like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sharing with you, Pauline, this with you.
Yeah.
Sarah, this you definitely understand. I think even we are a bit
Yes.
selfish because we don't share with people. I think it's both
Mhm.
ends. Like we don't share with people how we want them to handle us. Uh,
Mhm.
but at the same time, we don't want to feel like a special case. You know, it's like,
Mhm. No.
it's, you
Mhm.
know, it's like I don't have one eye, you know, and I'm walking with the other eye. It's not a special need thing. It's just, I think it's just life. And for me, that's the, and I realized, I looked at my Facebook, the next
Yeah.
day was the Mother's Day for the previous year. And I noticed on my timeline, I had actually written the same thing, only I had not done a video. I said on that Facebook post, I said, I hate this day with all my heart, because it's the day that people will remind you of what you don't have. And not because necessarily they don't care. Maybe they're just not aware of what to do.
Yeah.
And I think that is something as a counselor, maybe you would talk about
Mhm.
maybe today, and just help us, you know, us and those who are watching us waiting, just for us to know how to handle such situations, because I think people get tense and they don't know what to do. It's very frustrating. Those prophecies are fake, you know. It's not that, you know, some of us have not been prophesied. We've been poured on oil. We've drunk anointing oil. Sarah, if you know what I'm talking about, high
Yes.
five, you know. Me, I've given envelopes for my
I
children,
know.
offering crazy faith. You know that one, radical. So there's nothing I have not done except see a witch doctor.
And
So
I
I
can
think
imagine, Nina, with all the
Okay.
energy that you have, you
uh-huh.
have gone out, you know, out there and done it. And being that you're in front of people, yeah, leading worship, yeah, okay. So Sarah, Mother's Day, when Mother's Day
Yes.
comes, how is that day?
Ah, Mother's Day. I don't know. I think that is
Say
one
it
day I
all.
wish, you know, the day you wish it would be scrapped from the calendar. You know, it is horrible. And to make it worse, it falls on a Sunday. You know, when you can't even avoid people. I wish it was on a Saturday or a weekday. I will tell you for sure, I have skipped some Sundays, Mother's Day. I have skipped church some Sundays, because then, like Nina said, that is when you're so reminded about who you are and who you are not, so to speak. So it's a tough day, because then you sort of not very sure where you belong. Are you a mother? Are you not a mother? You know, deep down, you know you are one, but again, you don't know how to react to this Mother's Day. And let me tell you, Pauline, maybe I would say what Nina has said. Initially, of course, it was hard, because then everyone is wishing. They don't know. Some of them don't know whether to wish you Happy Mother's Day or not to.
Yes.
There are instances where I have wished some people Happy Mother's Day and they say thank you, you know. And I would say, I think there are others who will tell you Happy Mother's Day to you too. But then, like Nina has said, I forgive everyone, because then they don't know how to treat you. They do not know how to treat us. Are you okay with being called a mother? Are you okay with being wished Happy Mother's Day? Or should I just avoid? And I have had people who tread very carefully around me when it comes to the issue of Mother's Day. But maybe we can say it here and now that we are okay with being wished Mother's Day. We wish people would actually wish us Mother's Day, because we are mothers at the end of the day. We are mothers. We may not be biological, but we are mothers at heart. Let me say that. We are mothers at heart. So when I wish you a happy Mother's Day, please wish me a happy Mother's Day, even if I don't. And I'm happy because we have people who do that.
I think, sorry, I think, Pauline, what Sarah is saying, I agree with her 120%. Just wish us a happy Mother's Day. Some of us have mental people.
It's a difficult day. It's a tough day. I wish it would fall on a Saturday or a weekday. Yes. Yeah, we have children we take care of. So wish us happy Mother's Day.
And leave it at that. That's what I wanted to say. Wish us Mother's Day. Leave it at that. Don't add those other things this same time next year. It's that is too much.
So I get that right, and I'm sure our viewers are hearing. Yes, Sarah. Yeah, I'm sure they are hearing.
I will say.
Go on, Sarah.
Okay, fine. Yes, I will say, like Nina has said, that those prophecies and the quoting of scriptures, for sure, I am a believer. I am a Christian. I was born and raised in church. I have grown up a Christian, and my husband is a Christian. So, to be honest, there's no scripture, there's nothing that we have not done as far as the faith is concerned. There's no scripture that we have not quoted. There's no promise that we have not quoted back to God. You know, there's no prayer that we have not made. So if you have not heard from God, if God has not sent you, please keep it to yourself. Don't quote those scriptures and telling us that no one died barren in the Bible. For real, if there was Sarah and there was Rebecca and there was Hannah, for sure there were others. Those who are not the
Yeah. Sorry, Sarah. Yeah. We said we are going to move with this internet. We are going to keep pushing with it. So Nina, I hear you and Sarah say that you just wish me happy Mother's Day. Leave it at that. Those other things, those other details. If you need other details, I'll let you know how to pray for me.
Yeah, it's called barging in someone else's business, and I think it's I don't know. It's like the way you wouldn't see a cripple and go like, why are you crippled? Or you want to start telling them like, Jesus, pick your mat and go. It doesn't make sense. As in, just being a church person does not give you the permission and the liberty to say too much. Paul says in scripture, some of you ought to mind your own business. Keep yourself busy. I think we need to draw lines and know up to where we can be able to say something, and even just see, does this person allow you to come to them and for them to can I allow you in that space? If I haven't allowed you into it, then hush it or just ask kindly, because we are not mean, but we are always defensive on that day. I'm waiting. It's really frustrating. Yeah.
So like you're already struggling. So people should not add the struggle to you that day.
Yes.
Okay.
Emotionally, because emotionally, mentally, already, you don't have your own children that you have, sired from your womb. So it's quite emotionally. That day is a very emotional day for women like us. It's a very emotional day for women like us. Sarah can agree with me, and any other woman who feels me. So already that day in itself, as much as it's a blessing, it's even faith enough that I'm even on the pulpit and I'm singing, I'm leading you in worship in my tears of because God, I love you so much. And I'm not even thinking about motherhood or anything. That day in itself carries just it's the same way you would have a memorial for a loved one who died, you know. So it's a day of loss, while for people it's a day of, you know, motherhood and life. For us, it's a sense of loss. It's something that we don't have. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for really shedding some light. I mean, if someone would really want to pray, they can pray without really just coming to you outrightly and making it harder. But thank you for also telling us that, yes, we wish you a Mother's Day, but we should not again avoid, because now that again is another issue. I don't know whether Sarah is back with us. Sarah, are you back? Sarah, are you back? I'm sure she'll get us. Now, Nina.
Yes.
What would you say? You can give one or two instances why your hardest. It's been a 16-year journey.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back, but I missed the question. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're back. You're back. Okay, now that you're back, I can come to you. We don't want to lose you again. So I'm just asking, you're going to 11 years now, Sarah, with your husband. What would be one or two incidents that for you have been the hardest? You know, those ones you almost remember without having to think much. What would you say has been the hardest? Yeah.
Okay, when I would say the hardest, not necessarily one incident. I think several, especially when you are in a meeting, whether family is more so family gatherings, introduce your family, and everyone says, yeah, it is hard. That I would say is my hardest point, the family gatherings and meetings, and where we have to introduce ourselves and our families. Yeah.
So over the years, now 11, going for family gatherings and having to introduce yourself.
Yes, having to introduce ourselves. That is a place I dread. That is that is something I dread. I think to date I still dread that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then let me probably highlight one. I remember I lost my dad in 2014, and of course everyone was there, and I was there. Right there at the burial site, one of my cousins stood next to me, and we are lowering the body, and he stood there and asked me, I have not seen your children. Where are they? And that was tough. That was horrible. It was bad because we are laying my father, we are lowering his body, and then I did not even talk to him. I did not say anything. I just moved away.
Wow. Is it a cousin, someone who you knew, who you're close with?
No, that was okay. I wouldn't say we had not met for some time, but then there are those people who we had not been close, and we had been apart for quite some time.
For you, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Okay. So Nina, what has been one or two difficult times that you remember over the 16 years?
So for me, one that actually popped up in my mind while Sarah was talking was years back, I had gained quite a bit of weight. And you know, with weight, and if you're from where I'm coming from Central, there is some specific areas where fat collects itself around the stomach. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
You're safe.
Yes.
And I had several people walk into the office where I was working in church and go like, Yani, I'm an actress, so let me just demonstrate it.
Mm.
So they see me and they're like, oh my God, thank God, hallelujah, you're finally blessed with child. How do I start telling them I'm fat? It is fat. I've become fat.
Mm. Mm.
I'm laughing now, but then it was so bad. I mean, it was so painful. It was so painful. And then I think because in their minds, because of receiving many prophecies in church publicly, now everyone is waiting. Every convention, every meeting, somebody's coming, waiting. She's growing fat. She's pregnant. So that was one. The second one is that one for family gatherings. Kwanzaa, not my in-laws though. My in-laws are amazing, by the way. I thank God for my in-laws and I thank God for my immediate family. Oh, they're sina stress. I thank God forever. It's those other ones who are related to them, to us. When you go for functions and they're like, okay, wako wapi? It's how do you start explaining? Or when you're told, when you go for functions, like maybe your sister's dowry or your brother's rasho or something, or a nephew's or something, and everyone is introducing themselves with their berets, with their nyumbas. This is me and my battalion. So, I have to stand up and say, this is me and my firstborn child, my husband. As in, so it's a tough one. So, like Sarah, that one for family, that's tough one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So, turning point. Where would you say, like, you got to a place where, would you say you got to a place where I don't know what word to use, but where would you say you realized I really need to just change, my perspective about everything, be a happier person? When would you say your turning point came? Maybe we can start with Nina. When would you say?
So for me, my turning point was in actually the journey started in 2015. So that should have been what? Now it's what, 5 years since, eh?
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years since. So that means that's 11 years into my marriage. Is when I had this friend of mine who one day just said to me, Nina, and that's why I like her, because she's actually not a pastor. So she's a realist. Like, she's those people who just know that this is what it is, let's just deal with it. And she was like, Nina, do you know, I actually think about it, you've never mourned the fact that you actually don't have a child. In my mind, I had never taken that as a loss, that I needed to grieve the process and surrender it now finally. And even if I'm working towards anything, I'm working towards it with that mindset of now I'm, relaxed. So 2016, I went on a journey. First of all, I needed to lay off the weight. And I don't mean the spiritual one, the physical one. I worked on going to the gym, eating healthy. I mean, those who follow me know I've been very consistent with my fitness and my health. I've managed to keep off 15 kilos off for the last 4 years, So that was one. Then I had to sit with myself and say, okay, God, I am very disappointed. I had this conversation and I said, I'm not going to lose my mind over this. And then I had to discover that God doesn't owe me anything. So we just had to come to a conclusion with my relationship with God like that. Like, you don't owe me anything. It's everything that your son did for me that makes me a complete woman. That's how Complete Woman started. That's how the name Complete Woman actually was birthed, because I was like, how many times as women do we get to a place where you're either single for long, like Sarah, you had waited, kidogo kidogo. I mean, in our culture, that is long, you know. And like, women you're single and you're being bashed about, being married, or you have a job, it's not enough, you have a marriage, you're not satisfied, you have children, you don't want them. You don't have children, you want them, as in it's just a whole roller coaster of so many things. And I think it's not just women, it's even men. We are constantly looking for something to fill in that void. And and I remember having that witness in my heart. I don't need anything on the outside to validate me as a woman, because I was feeling half a woman. I was drowning myself in junk and frustrated because I was feeling very bad. I was hiding myself, from going and keeping myself from going into meetings. I said, this has to stop. I have to be bold about it. I have to speak about this. And so that was my turning point. And I literally said, you know what? It's actually possible to live without children. No one died of childlessness. And then there are other options. There is an option of IVF, there's an option of adoption. And when that time comes, if I feel like it, then I will, but not because of external pressures. And right now, I am as fit and as peaceful as a little dove, They come, they go. If they don't come, I'm okay, Yeah, that was my turnaround.
You said so boldly. Imagining there are times you could not get to such kind of a statement. That is amazing. Your turning point. So, Sarah, when would you say? I have you saying at the beginning that time, is a great help in this journey and the grace of God. Where would you say you're at right now? Where would you say was your turning?
I am now where I am today. I wish this is where I started, but anyway, I am glad because of the journey that I have walked. I am at that place where I don't know whether I am comfortable. I am complete, I would say. I am I am a woman. I am complete. My life is complete. If children come, hallelujah, praise. They don't. It got to that point. There was and pain, and I realized I almost sank into the.
We will get you, Sarah. Okay. Oh, Sarah. Wow. Okay. So we'll get Sarah. I'm sure she will get a good spot for her. Yeah. So maybe Nina, as Sarah comes back, what would you tell the society? I mean, you mentioned about Mother's Day, but how would you tell the society? The society is people. There's nothing called society. It is the people out there. In terms of viewing and handling somebody, what would you think you want to add that maybe you haven't mentioned?
So in society, you're talking about people other than the ones in my normal environment.
Yes.
I think, first of all, I want to say sorry to the society for not knowing what to do with women like us. Actually, I was actually pondering on this particular verse yesterday. It's interesting. It's in Proverbs. It says, I don't know if it's Proverbs, I think. It says several things that cannot, be at peace or cannot rest. One of them is a woman who doesn't have children. Yes, it's in the Bible. You cannot satisfy a woman who doesn't have children, my friend. So, but anyway, sorry for that. Sometimes we misunderstand you like the way you misunderstand us. I think also the other thing is it's a culture, and especially in the African community, that you get married, then the next thing, even on your wedding day, you're being told with those videos, you're told, hey, we are waiting, the nurses are waiting, the doctors are waiting, and all that. And that needs to stop. That needs to stop, because the same way I think we do premarital counseling and we're prepared and we are told, what if you don't get children? I think a society needs to be aware that this is happening, and it happens, and therefore we don't have, maybe it's the woman, or sometimes it's the man who is not able to produce seed. And maybe some of them have decided they don't want children. I think it's important for us to be re-educated, I think. Reinvented or restructured in a sense, or recalibrated, whatever word that is, into thinking outside the box, so that the society can be able to handle a woman like me or Sarah, and not be able to not sideline us, maybe with avoiding what to say, or not inviting us for some meetings, or when they invite us, they don't know what to do with us. No. It should be a normal thing. It should be like breathing air. So I think infertility should be, and I think it has been. I don't know whether it's now in Kenya. It's known as, but I don't think it is. I think there was a campaign by More Than a Mother. I think they were campaigning to put it in the class of like diseases, like it's a case, like the way you have cancer, you have infertility. It should not be looked at as a taboo, but it should be looked at as a situation, because what is happening is, I think I can mention this if it's okay. The lady, the CEO of Fertility Kenya, Cecilia Karanja, she's running a very amazing, foundation that actually my husband and I are in. Interesting. For just helping women to be able to get educated, and especially in the village, and even here, where you find that there are women who think that they are cursed. That has been a taboo if someone doesn't have a child. And then in some cases, when they are told, and that whole nini is restructured, and they're like, oh, so it's actually not a curse. Oh, so I can actually take myself to the hospital, we go get checked. And the man is cancelled to be able to understand that it's normal and the situation can be rectified. So as I sit here, I'm speaking from a point of, I am very informed and aware of what is going on with my body and what are the options I have. But it's my choice, which when I'm ready, I can announce to the whole world. But then I am informed. So I know I'm not cursed. I don't have an issue. I am informed. And so if the society, this can be conversations that can continue being held at large without us shying off and bowing down, I think it will help us even stop that woman in the village from being battered, from being, thrown out, even when it's the man who has the issue. Because a lot of us in our society, in our culture, have taken it as a curse. The other thing I would also want to address from a spiritual point is, I feel that spiritual leaders need to stop. They need to stop casting out demons from women that don't have children. That needs to stop like yesterday. For real, it needs to stop. We need to be informed. And this thing is not about a demon or a what. There's a place of prayer, and I've prayed for people when they've gotten children, or maybe miscarriages have been, I'm a woman of faith, miscarriages have been held, and the woman didn't lose her child. But I think we need to stop this, and the society needs to be aware that it's a sickness, it's a situation, it needs to be addressed. And sometimes it's just going to a fertility doctor and find, because they're different, and finding maybe Sarah, you find that maybe your hormones are not balanced. I have a friend who after 7 years, she discovered she had a hormonal imbalance. Or you go and find out that, are you seeing how educated I am? Or you go, like in my case, I can do IVF if I want to. You get, but the emotional torture, I'm not sure I want to handle that,
Mm-hmm.
You can have, an issue of what? Maybe you have everything intact, but maybe your husband's sperm is dead, like it's not producing. So we have things like surrogacy, we have things like, adoption, we have, but all these things are things that, or situations that the society has to be educated and allow the husband and the wife to come to a conscious place where they're emotionally prepared to be able to get into these steps. Because I've seen people who go for IVF, spend $500,000, it doesn't work. They go for another $500,000, it doesn't work. Before you know it, they're in so much debt and they're divorcing. So what is more important?
Should wait, should let the couple make their own decision. It's not a must that you adopt. It's not a must that you do IVF. It will be their decision. Yeah.
It will be their decision. And they need to be emotionally prepared for this, because it's breaking people's homes. As I speak, I know there are people. We've had this conversation like 5 years ago on a show, and there are men who heard our story and they were going to leave their wives. They changed their minds because it's a taboo. It's a societal mindset. You guys can decide. You can decide to adopt if you want. You can decide to go surrogacy. And if you don't want to go the expensive, you can even get your sister to carry for you your child. It's no big deal. Yeah. And so I think it's just that education thing, and everybody, including, spiritual leaders, I think everybody needs to be aware that it's an embarrassing situation to keep calling a woman in front and advertising her. She's already emotionally stressed, and you call her at the front. I hear the Lord say, call her on the side in secret. You don't have to shout on the microphone. Already the society is stressing her. How much more now in the church she becomes a prayer item? So I think it's something that needs to be addressed, and we need to be educated. It is not a curse, and it should change and to be taken as just like cancer or something else.
Thank you, Nina, so much. And Sarah, we have you back. Sarah, we need Sarah back. We are doing a parting shot, very short. So Sarah, are you there? I don't know where she is.
I am. Oh, I am. My apologies.
You are. Okay, maybe you can put for us together you can tell us when your parting point is, and when was your turning point? Then put it together with what can you tell a family out there who are also in a situation of trusting God or waiting, or in that hard situation of about not having a child yet. You can put those together and as your parting shot. Then we'll get to Nina with her parting shot.
Okay, fine. I will say I got my life turned around when I realized that there was life beyond and even without children. That my life was complete, my marriage was complete. I did not need anybody to validate me as a wife or as a family, and that was a wake-up call. And I realized life continues, and my mantra today is live life. I mean, there's life today. I will not waste today for a tomorrow that is not guaranteed. Today I'm here, I am alive. There's so much. If I only live for having children, then that is a very small vision to live for. I mean, there's so much to live for beyond having children. And I thank God for those who are blessed, but even for those who are not, we all have our own purpose and reason for us to be here. And I will not waste my life and lose an opportunity to fulfill my purpose because of something that I'm not even sure of. So I live life today. And so for anyone who is waiting, live life.
Wow, wow. Live life, live life. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that, and for just telling that person out there that there's still more that they can live for. I like what you said. You don't want to waste today for tomorrow, which you even don't know about. So important from Sarah's voice to you that live life. Find that time of taking a turn around that I'm going to live life. That's amazing. Nina, your parting shots to
So for
that
me, I
young
was thinking,
family out there. Yes.
yes, I was thinking while she was talking, it's the same thing I think I would add, and then add on top of that and say, waiting is not doing nothing. And that is where most of us usually are stuck. And I would say that because that's where I was stuck, and I believe Sarah was also stuck when she says she was falling into depression. It's because we were waiting, we were stuck there, just thinking and fixating on this child. Waiting is not doing nothing. Waiting is movement. When eagles are waiting, when eagles are soaring, it's that moment of waiting and just, soaring and gathering energy and momentum to be able to push to the next place. And like she's saying, let us live life. Focusing on children can actually ruin your relationship. I'm telling you, it will ruin your relationship. You'll put one another undue pressure that is not necessary. And this is the other thing I always say, and I see it with my parents. All six of us, that's including my brother, because we're five girls, one brother. We all left our parents. Now they're on their own, just the two of them, the way they were when we came into their lives and left. So the point is, even when these children come and go, you still need to be with your spouse. You need to be there. That is the most important person. And then pay attention to the things around you. You will be a blessing to so many people. You will stop being selfish, and you'll be able to give of your time. You'll be able to give of your money. You'll be able to give of your energy and your gifts. Hence, becoming a blessing to the entire world. Yeah.
Wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. Viewers, you had it for yourselves. I can't add. I mean, the points kept coming and coming from them. And as we say in this episodes that we bring to you, we like hearing it from the horse's mouth. We bring candid conversations of those real life from people who have walked the path, and they have told us how they want us to handle them. How can we look at them? How can we move with them as families, as in-laws, as friends? Thank you so much, Lina and Sarah. Sorry, Sarah had dropped out as we ended, but like we kept saying, this is a new normal. We'll keep, working on this internet thing, but it will be well. So I really appreciate you, Lina. I appreciate Sarah. I appreciate your husbands, the Joroges. Tell them thank you, because if it were not for them just giving you the blessing of coming to share your lives, I know this would not have been possible. So for all our viewers, thank you for tuning in. We look forward to having you next week. We will put up the topic of conversation during the week, and we look forward to being with you next week, Friday at 7:30. I have been your host, Pauline Gikang'ah. God bless you. Have a lovely weekend, and next week, and beautiful next week. Bye-bye for now.